If you're a fan of card games, or even Blizzard in general, then you've probably played Hearthstone to some degree. It's known to many that Hearthstone is a fantastic game, despite how frustrating it can get at times. But even if it's a good game, let's be honest, it's a little bit expensive and it can be overwhelming to get into. If you start playing in the middle of the year, you're going to be stuck playing catch-up and having to figure out which card sets to buy, when to buy them, and you're always going to be behind everyone else. It can be difficult to figure out what packs do you buy, where do you spend your gold, should you be playing Arena, Wild, Standard, what format, is it worthwhile to invest in duels or Arena, should I just stick to Standard, and how do you even make gold in general? All these things can be very hard to figure out. Luckily, Hearthstone will be entering its newest year, the Year of the Gryphon, in March. It will not only be more refreshing with new cards, rotations, new game modes, but it'll even be more accessible. It's going to be cheaper to play, things will be given to us for free, and the Battle Pass will continue to exist, and the Year of the Gryphon, is looking really good for Hearthstone. I'm not exactly sure when it's starting, I think it's going to be the end of March, but today I'm going to be going over a lot of questions that people have had and been asking me in my stream about the Year of the Gryphon. We'll be looking at the new game mode, the Classic mode, which is essentially Hearthstone when it first released. We'll be looking at the core set, which is a bunch of free cards. That'll be in Standard. We'll be looking at rotation and a bunch of other stuff. If you have any questions after watching the video, feel free to leave them in the comments. I'm going to start off by going over all these big points. At the end, I'll have a turbo FAQ for anyone who missed anything or just wants quick answers. But I would recommend watching the whole video to get more depth analysis and my unfiltered thoughts on everything. I hope this video helps you guys out. If it does, I would appreciate it if you would help me out. Leave me a like on this video and subscribe to the channel. I'm trying to get back into content creation. I took a break in February from YouTube because I lost my job and it's been hard. But here we are trying again. All you gotta do is like the video and subscribe. But without further ado, let's jump right in and take a look at what we'll be launching with the Year of the Gryphon. So I'm breaking this down into 4 different parts. We'll be taking a look at essentially all the big things that are being added to Hearthstone. This isn't scripted at all, I just kind of have little bullet points to look over, but this is all just going to be unfiltered, me talking about it. If you look at the hot link of the bar, the bar on the video, you'll see it broken down to parts so you can skip around to see what you want. I'd prefer if you watch the whole video because it'll help you out more and it'll help me out more. But anyways, let's start by talking about the new game mode, Classic. Classic will be launching a few days before the new expansion. It'll come, as I mentioned, with patch 20. Actually, I don't think I said that yet. Anyways, Classic will be releasing with the newest patch, patch 20. Usually what happens is before an expansion comes out, they release the patch like 3 or 4 days before, and they put all the cards in the game. You can look at all like the flavor text and see them all in collection, but you can't actually play with them or craft them. When this happens, Classic is supposed to release. It might be a few days before, it could be a week before. All I know is it's supposed to be in the end of March, middle March, end of March. We don't really have a set release day, but on the Battle.net launcher, it was kind of leaked that the expansion is releasing around March 22nd, March 23rd. And that tells us that Classic probably comes out around the 18th or 19th. Looking at a calendar, I'm just going to pull this up right here. It'll probably be the Thursday, which is the 18th. Could be the Tuesday, which is the 16th. But I'm talking a lot about Classic. I haven't really told you guys what it is. Classic mode is essentially Hearthstone in its prime. It's Hearthstone when it first came out. People have been asking this forever. If you've seen World of Warcraft or play World of Warcraft, you've probably seen Classic WoW. They released with no expansions, the base game just exactly what World of Warcraft was and released, and Hearthstone's kind of doing the same thing. Classic will be its own game mode. You can play with all these old cards in their prime. You'll have unnerfed Warsong Commander, you'll have unnerfed 4-mana Leroy Jenkins, Ragnaros will be in the game, Sylvanas will be in the game. You'll have all the broken, crazy things that we had before any expansions came out. This is before Nax, this is before any expansion we have now. And honestly, this will probably bring back a lot of players. A lot of old players who used to play Hearthstone are probably going to be excited to play in these old formats that they haven't played in a long time. I, for one, am very excited to play Freeze Mage, Miracle Rogue, probably some Face Hunter, some Savage Roar OTK Druid. All these things are looking super dope and I cannot wait to try them. And that'll be coming later in March. It's going to be really fun to play with all these old cards, and I think a lot of Hearthstone players have been looking forward to this for a long time. So I think Classic will be a good addition to Hearthstone that'll help keep its longevity. They haven't really said what they plan on doing to progress Paul Classic. If they're doing anything like WoW, they'll probably release expansions kind of like they used to, so they'll be like, oh, Naxxramas has released. Oh, Blackrock Mountain. And then we'll just relive the cycles of expansions. They also hadn't said if they were going to nerf or balance anything. They weren't really sure, according to, I think it was Ixar on Twitter. We're going to have to find out. Hopefully they keep it as Classic, then eventually slowly progress it, and we can get to the really cool metas. But only time will tell. But I, for one, am very, very excited for this new format. Next up is probably one of the most exciting things that will be happening in the Year of the Gryphon, which is the new core set. If you played Hearthstone at all, you've played with the same core set of cards. Things like Boulder Fist Ogre, Silverback Patriarch, Kill Command Frostbolt, Shadow Stap, Prep, etc. And a lot of those are leaving, and a lot of them are changing. Essentially, Blizzard is committed to doing, I think it's a new core set every year, which will mean they'll be giving us a metric shit ton of cards for free. And that is right, they are all free. These cards will be given to every player that has all their classes over level 10 each, I think. And if you don't have them over level 10, you'll have to level them up yourself. And a lot of old cards are returned, a lot of cards have rotated into the classic set that weren't actually classic cards before, and some new cards are even shown up. Some old cards have been buffed. A good example is Earth Elemental, now only overloads for 2. Lightning Storm always hits for 3. And it's just dope. It's so cool. All these crazy cards have been, like, I don't want to say added to the game, but it may as well be added. They're brought back into Standard. I'm trying to actually pull up a library here, but there are so many cards that weren't in the original state of Hearthstone, such as Shooting Star or Falling Hero for Mage, or Dire Frenzy for Hunter, and they're now going to be a part of the core set for a year, maybe more. I think it's going to be a year, and they're going to do a new one every year, but it might be 2. Who knows? Blizzard kind of just does what they want a lot of the times. But it's just really cool to see all these new cards being added back, and we're going to have a fresh, like, new phase for Hearthstone. We're no longer going to have to play around Kill Command. No longer will Mage be able to Frostbolt us. Rogues will no longer have, actually talking about Rogues losing, they lost something, Eviscerate. Rogues lose Eviscerate. Some of these, like, key cards that are, like, so nostalgic to me won't be a part of every single game I play. It's going to be kind of weird to get used to, but I think it'll be a good change for Hearthstone. It'll shake things up more than most rotations ever do. There's also cards being buffed, as I mentioned. There are new cards. There's so much. I would recommend looking at them all yourself. I was going to do a review video on them, but I feel like other people have, and it's not really, like, it's really cool, but it's not, like, earth-shattering, so I think I'll leave it up to you to find your opinions. I might do, like, a top 5 cards at some point, but regardless, the classic set, or the core set, is bringing huge changes to Hearthstone, and I, for one, am very excited to see it. There's one other thing that's coming with the core set changes. I think it's the only other thing. I hope I didn't miss it. But they're also making a change to Shaman. Shaman's hero power will no longer have the Wrath of Air totem, which is spell damage, and is being replaced by a Strength totem, which is a 1 mana, 0/2 totem. At the end of your turn, give another friendly minion +1 attack. Essentially, there was a card that did that, but essentially it buffs a minion at the end of the turn. I think Micro Mummy does that. At the end of the turn, one of your minions on board gets buffed. This is, like, pretty cool. It's going to be sad not having Spell Power Totem, but Shaman very often would rely on rolling Spell Power Totem to win the game. Now, it's going to be, do you roll Strength Totem? If you do, is it buffing your board? Who knows? I'm really excited to see how it goes, rather. I want to see if this makes Shaman playable. Probably won't. It'll need some pretty good cards. But the core set will be changing Hearthstone up massively, and I'm very excited to play. Because these cards are free, it makes it much cheaper to play the game. All you have to do is have your classes level 10, and if you don't, you just have to level them up to level 10. It's going to make Hearthstone so much more accessible, and it's a perfect time to try it if you haven't already. The third thing that I'll be talking about is the rotation. To me, this is something that's very important, and I think it's kind of what it makes Hearthstone the most fun. Every year, one of the most fun times in Hearthstone is at the rotation. I guess some people might not like it because there are less cards in the game, but whatever. Personally, I like it a lot because all the shitty cards from old expansions get out. We lose some cool cards, but to me, this makes the game more fun. Rotation, for those of you who are newer to this kind of, I guess, thing in Hearthstone, rotation means all the expansions from a certain year will rotate out. In Hearthstone, we have our years broken down. There was the Classic year, which was 2014 to 2015, Year of the Kraken in 2016, Year of the Mammoth in 2017, 2018 was the Year of the Raven, 2019 Year of the Dragon, and 2020 is the Year of the Phoenix, 2021 Year of the Gryphon. Essentially, 2 years will be in rotation at a given time. Last year, we lost Year of the Raven. This year, we're losing expansions from Year of the Dragon. Year of the Dragon, I had to look this up because I actually didn't know. Year of the Dragon had 4 expansions. Rise of Shadows, Saviors of Doom, Descent of Dragons, and Galakrond's Awakening, which was Descent of Dragons, the mini expansion. There's a lot of really bad cards going, and I'm serious when I say really bad cards. We're losing Lackeys, we're losing Highlander cards, we're losing Galakrond, we're losing Heroes. That's like what jumps out to me. Those are the cards I really didn't like, and I'm very excited to see them gone. I know some of them might have been fun for casuals, but they kind of hurt the competitive side of Hearthstone, and I'm very excited to see all of these gone. For the past 3 months on stream, I've been like, I can't wait for rotation. Oh my god, Lackeys are gone. Lackeys are gone. It is what it is. I'm just so excited. The rotation will take these out and will leave Hearthstone with less expansions than usual. We'll have the 3 from Year of the Phoenix, Dark Moon Fair, Skullman's Academy, and Ashes of Outland, as well as Forged in the Barrens. This will mean there are less cards in Hearthstone. It'll be a tighter card pool. It'll be harder to make very powerful decks because you'll be limited to what you have. The average power level for decks will be lower, but it's exciting because with the new core set and with the new expansion, things will be shaken up heavily. I am very excited to see how the core set goes. I'm a little worried that some old decks like Lifesteal Demon Hunter, World Kick Rogue, and maybe not World Kick Rogue, sorry, Aggro Rogue. Seeing these gone, kind of scary. Or remain in the meta. I'm just having like a stroke here. Seeing those decks remain in the meta with like not much rotate out, it's kind of spooky, but you know, maybe they'll nerf the cards, maybe they won't be that good. Maybe we'll have some like insanely good tools to answer them. Who knows? I want to see where Hearthstone goes, and I'm very excited to see what these changes bring with the rotation. The last thing that I want to take a look at before our FAQ is the newest expansion, Forged in the Barrens. I mentioned this a few times, but I'll go more in depth in it right now. It's really weird having like certain things to talk in my videos, because usually I just ad-lib it and I go. And like I'm kind of still doing that, but like I have to know what I'm talking about. And it makes it much harder. Anyways, Forged in the Barrens is the newest expansion. That was my stall while I pulled it up. Forged in the Barrens is the newest expansion coming to Hearthstone. If you played World of Warcraft, the Barrens is a very nostalgic place for many. I only very briefly played World of Warcraft and very briefly played Classic, but I do know the Barrens very well because that's where I spent most of my time. I was like undead hunter or something, so I was in the Barrens a lot. The Barrens chat is crazy. People were so mean in the Barrens chat. I loved it. Anyways, the newest expansion, Forged in the Barrens, will bring a very iconic place from World of Warcraft history to Hearthstone. There will be several new keywords, new cards, new mechanics. It will be great. We'll quickly take a look at all of them. I'm pretty excited for this expansion. I hope the power level is pretty high. But essentially, let me break down all the new things. First and foremost is the new keyword. We usually get one per set, or maybe two, usually one. The newest keyword is Frenzy. Frenzy is essentially like Spell Burst, where it can only trigger once, but it only triggers when a minion takes damage and survives. For example, if you have a 1 mana 1/1 Frenzy, or 1 mana 1/2, sorry, it has to survive. 1 mana 1/2 Frenzy, deal 30 damage to the opponent, and you deal 1 damage to it, you will deal 30 damage to the opponent. The cards they have shown are a 5 mana 5/6 named Razor Maw Raider, which is Frenzy, freeze a random enemy minion, or attack a random enemy, sorry. So when it's damaged and survives, it will have a one-time effect of attacking an enemy. There's one with Rush, there's one that deals damage. There's some cool cards. The second thing they're adding is ranked spells. Essentially, ranked spells will grow based on how many mana crystals you have. If you have 2 mana crystals, 3 mana crystals, or 4, it'll have one effect. When you hit 5 mana crystals, it'll have a second effect. When you have 10 total mana crystals, it'll have a third effect. It's kind of like the Omega cards we used to have, where it's like, if you have 10 mana, do an extra effect. But they level up based on how much total mana you have. Makes me think if there's like a Druid one, it'll probably be broken, because Druid can hit 10 mana before everyone else, but again, not really sure. It depends how strong the cards are. These cards, in theory, these cards will be like okay on curve, and then not a bad top deck because they'll have a more powerful effect. It makes it so that your top decks are always kind of relevant, middle game, early game, late game, and that's kind of interesting because it takes away some of the card draw RNG from Hearthstone. And the last new mechanic they're adding is Spell Schools. Spell Schools essentially give an element type to every spell. I'm going to quickly go over the Spell Schools. I'm not going to talk about all the cards that they have because we've only seen some of them, but the Spell Schools are broken down into Arcane, Fel, Fire, Frost, Holy is 5, and Shadow is 6, and Nature is 7. From what I understand, Spell Schools will be retroactively added to all of the spells in the game. So every spell will now have a school. What this means is now cards can do things like have, let's say, +3 spell damage for nature spells. And nature spells probably don't go face, they only heal. Or +3, yeah, so any nature spell that hits a minion, maybe not heal, will now have +3, but then your card to go face won't. An example is, let's say Druid Starfall is nature, and you have +3 nature spell damage. This will now deal +3 to all. So 2 + 3, that's 5. But your Moonfire is not nature, so it will not deal 4 to the opponent. This lets Blizzard kind of make it so that certain cards you can't just like print things that break things. If you print a high power spell damage minion because you want to give board clears more widely to certain classes like Druid or Hunter, now it can just hit the board clear spells and not the ones that hit face. I think it's really cool. I don't know, like you think I'm Italian, man. I'm just like, but I think it's pretty cool. I think there's a lot of changes with Spell Schools that can come. I think a lot of good can come out of it, but I guess in theory it could be a lot of bad because it could limit card design, but I don't really know. I don't design cards. I just talk about them and play them. I'm really excited for Forged in the Barrens. You can do pre-purchases. There's a bunch of stuff you can do with all that, whatever you want. There's some cool hero portraits. I think it's a Druid one. I just want new Hearthstone cards. The meta sucks. Yeah, on to the FAQ. The video's already a bit long, so we're going to do the FAQ pretty quickly. The Turbo FAQ. It's the turbo nuts. It's fast. I'm going to read out some questions. I'm going to answer the questions. If I miss anything that you have, comment below. I will get to you, I promise. First and foremost, how much will the core set be? It'll be free. Secondly, if the core set is free, can I disenchant cards? Yes, but only if you have no interest in Wild. I assume that the cards that are rotating out, such as Old Alexstrasza, will still be playable in Wild. That's kind of what they told us. So don't disenchant stuff that you will want to play in Wild. If you have any interest in Wild, do not disenchant. Follow-up question, can I disenchant cards that are rotating specifically into Wild from older expansions from the Year of the Dragon? Yes, but again, only if you have no interest in the format. There's a chance these cards might come back to Standard. I just want to put that as a disclaimer. I don't really know, so just be cautious. Will there be dust compensation for cards rotating out? This is something I'm actually not too certain about. I believe they said there would not be dust compensation. Usually, when cards rotate, we do not get full dust for them unless they're Hall of Fame specifically. So, I don't think so. The Classic set is free. We're probably not going to get dust rotation, but if Blizzard does it, it's a plus, net positive. But don't bet on it. Will Classic have ranked? Yes, there will be ranked ladder, much like Standard or Wild. If cards are unnerfed for Classic, will they be unnerfed in other formats? No. Cards unnerfed in Classic will only be unnerfed in Classic. Warsong Commander will be a shitty minion that they kind of buff, but not really, in Standard, and then while in Classic, it will have the effect to give your minions charge. When does Classic release? It should release with patch 20, which will be towards the end of March, probably a few days before the new expansion. And last but not least, will there be any new game modes this year? There will be 2. Hearthstone Mercenaries and 1 unannounced one. I think they said that there might be 2 game modes in 2021 that aren't Hearthstone Mercenaries. But again, I wouldn't bet on it. COVID kind of made a lot of stuff more difficult. And also, we were supposed to get Hearthstone Mercenaries last year and it was kind of delayed, so I just assume it'll be late. It's kind of how it works. But in theory, we're getting 2 to 3 game modes if you count Hearthstone Mercenaries. That wraps up the FAQ. I know it wasn't too in-depth, but hopefully it answered some of your questions. Again, if I missed any, please let me know in the comments below. I will answer or research every question that you have. And now, before we wrap up, I want to quickly talk about the best way to prepare for the year. This kind of fits in the FAQ, so I'm just going to put it here. But essentially, if you want to prepare for the year, or like your account for the year, the best thing to do is grind gold. And I know that's like kind of like the most boring answer, but grinding gold is how you do it. You need money. Also, you could just steal your mom's credit card. I'm not going to hold you to it. If you want to do it, you want to do it. If you're going to do it, I didn't tell you to do it, and make sure to donate to twitch.tv/LukerHS. But anyways, get some money, get some gold, however you do it. If you want to grind gold, there's 2 main ways I'd recommend doing it. One is Arena. I think Arena is the most boring thing ever. Some people love it though. If you love draft formats, this is good for you. One issue with Arena is there isn't as many content creators for Arena anymore. I think Ratsma started streaming again, but I'm not sure. Arena can be kind of hard to get into. There's the Innkeeper, I think it is, attachment for your deck tracker that can help you draft. If that is still updated, I'll go for it. But Arena can be a bit harder to get into. The upside is you don't need a collection, and if you're good at it, you'll make money back. Forewarning, you have to get like 7 wins on average though to make your gold back, so if you aren't good at the game, I'd recommend not spending it on Arena and just saving up. Next up is Duels. Duels is kind of like Arena, but you need a collection. I think Duels is probably easier because there's a lot of high rolly stuff you can do, but again, you need a collection. Same thing goes for Arena though. Make sure that you are good at this kind of format if you're going to play it. Play some casual games of Duels first before playing ranked. Find a deck that you like for each hero, or for the majority of heroes at least. Find treasures you like, put some research in. Don't just throw your gold at it because you will probably have a net negative if you aren't that good. One upside of Duels though that I haven't spoken about is that there are more content creators for it. If you want to learn how to play Duels, there's a cool dude on Twitch named Team America HS I think is the link, and he's pretty good at the format, so it's a great place to learn. So I'd head over there if you want to pick up some Duels educational content. Good luck! And last but not least, jam some quests. You have all of your daily quests. Make sure on every server that you play on, do every quest that you get. If it's painful, you can reroll 1 per day. If it's hard, you can do it in friendly challenges. Do your achievements if they give XP. There should be a comprehensive guide somewhere online. I don't really know. Just make sure to do your achievements, do your quests, level up the battle pass as much as you can. Just play as many games every day as you can. If you're tired from work and you don't really want to think, play some casual games. Just make sure that you're getting XP when you have free time. Save your gold for the new expansion. You can get some other cards, but I recommend it. I would recommend saving because new cards go burr. In general though, I think this is probably the best way to prepare. Doing all those things will probably help you out a metric shit ton. This was a longer video than I'm used to, but I hope you guys enjoyed, and I hope this helped prepare you for the year of the Gryphon and all the things that are to come. My name is Luker. I enjoyed making this kind of content, so if you enjoy it, please let me know in the comments by liking the video and subscribing to my channel. As I mentioned, I lost my job, which kind of sucks, but it is what it is. It wasn't anything personal. You know, this company, Tempo, was moving away from YouTube, so I'm now a jobless Andy, so I'm going to make content on YouTube and Twitch. So, your support actually means a lot more to me than you guys might know. I really do appreciate it. I'm really excited for the new year. The Year of the Gryphon looks hella dope, and I can't wait to see what comes from it. If you guys enjoy this type of content, please be sure to share it as well. A lot of people have been asking these questions in my stream, so if you guys can just go around, send this to your friends, maybe you can get them into Hearthstone. If they haven't played the game before, if they have never played Hearthstone, you can just send this to your friends. And maybe this will help prepare them to get into it, and then you'll have more friends to play Hearthstone with. And here's the secret. You've been playing longer than they have. You'll probably shit on them. And if you're shitting on them, you look really cool. Send your friends this video. Thank you guys so much for the support. I appreciate it. I hope you have a wonderful evening, and I hope you guys are looking forward to the Year of the Gryphon as much as I am. Peace out, Cub Scouts. I love each and every one of you. Have a wonderful evening, and I'll catch you next time. Ciao, guys.